All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Today is an experimental live stream. I am live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time, so it should be an interesting time. I have a lot of people tuned in on TikTok at the moment. We got some people from Minnesota, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Ohio, Missouri. We got a couple people in from Missouri. Just so you know, everybody that's on TikTok, I'm going to kind of be talking. I'm going to be using the content that I see come through on the chat. So people will see that on YouTube as well. If you want to see the live stream, and if I could maybe, let's see, I have me on YouTube. I want to check the audio and make sure. We're kind of in the prelim of getting things set up, so bear with me. Today's goal is we are going to continue working on the 2000 OBS Chevy Dually that I am currently involved in putting air ride suspension on. I pretty much got everything wrapped up as far as the fabrication. I'm just doing some final cleanup on some parts. I was out here live for a while yesterday. And today's main project is has a better view at the moment. All right, all good here. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to get myself set up and start to challenge my build. I need to know. That kind of stinks. Yes. What? That's what I was hoping for. I don't know what I did. Now you can hear me on YouTube. All right. So I'm getting word. My microphone, I think it's working. That's what today's about. We're trying to do a little trial and error and experimentation. Yeah, the rear, I'll give you a closer look at them here in a second. I got everything doubled up. I did a 1/4 inch plate, so the main bracket was 1/4 inch, and then I off early for the brackets for the air ride. I guess enjoy the show. Not sure what that is. Yes, I am using a 60 grit flap disc on the angle grinder to clean the welds up. I use a lot of benchmark abrasives. Morning, Alan. How you doing, buddy? Yes, there you go. Drag Racer 2X. Alan, I've been talking on Instagram, on some of this, the rear bag mount. I actually just of what was happening yesterday. Um, like I said, I had to knock off. It's all cleaned up. I just got to clean up the. Give you a real live look. There we go. It's kind of difficult. Changes up a lot with two different live streams going on. Bear with me. Jeremy, nice to meet you, buddy. Trial and error here.
Oh. Jeremy, nice to meet you, buddy. I can hear you now. Trial and error here.
All right. Well, that didn't work, so the first couple minutes on YouTube is just going to be dead audio, so I apologize.
Oh, well, now it'll.
It didn't pick up my wired mic, so anybody that was watching on YouTube, I apologize. Very similar to a Dana 60. This is the GM Corporate 14 bolt. So today's live stream is going to be a little bit different. A little bit different, not too much. For those of you who are watching on TikTok, I am also live streaming on YouTube at the same time. It's something that I've been wanting to try to do for quite a while. So for the first portion of the live stream, my audio was no good. I was trying to do a microphone for YouTube. And now I've switched back to a stripped down version, I guess you could say. Well, hello, Caesar. This is one of my garage dogs. This is Caesar, right? Say hi to everybody, Caesar. They can't see it. Say hi. So this is just a trial and error Sunday morning live stream. So I will probably be bouncing back and forth to both cameras, trying to make everything happen as best as I can. So one of the things I wanted to try to do was use the commentary from TikTok because I get a lot of interaction on TikTok and figured it would make decent content for YouTube. And I don't mind live. It's a beast of a rear end. GM Corporate 14 bolt with, I believe, 410 gears and drum brakes set up for the dually. comes to the cleanup on this, I'm not necessarily looking to flatten out all of the welds. All of the welds look pretty decent, but what I am trying to target is all of the anti-spatter and like the little weld bubbles and balls that you would get. I do want to flatten the bracket out a little bit because I have stacked 1/4 inch plate, but I'm really not looking to smooth out all the welds and all of that. This is still going to get sandblasted, so I'm just trying to get the majority of it before sandblasting. Morning, Dave. Nah, that wasn't the fence jumper. That was my big boy. No, it should be able to do side to side. Depends on how the controller's set up. If Alan is still in the chat, he may know more about how the Airlift 3H setup is designed. But we're basically just going for air rod control. So I'm sure it will do side to side because you have individual control of each bag on the controller. And then I'm sure you could do presets to where you could hit it and then change how it works. But ultimately, we're just looking for front to back. And as far as I'm concerned, I believe it to be pretty expensive. But what isn't expensive nowadays? The controller, the complete 3H air performance lift controller setup was right around, I believe, $1,800. But then I still had to supply the air compressors and the tank and the bags. this is a pretty sweet little setup for some of you that were in the chat yesterday. This is my little Wen 1/2 inch by 18 inch electric belt sander. This is a great $40 investment for finish work. It's more designed for like woodworking, so it's limited to how much power it has, but as long as you work within the guidelines for it, it works pretty good. Hand file is such an underrated tool in the shop. Tell me one of your most underrated tools that you use in your shop. Or something that you think is an underrated tool. Hand file, underrated. Is anybody working on any kind of projects today? I know that on the 7th day he rested, but this is rest for me. So I'm resting in my garage, doing the things that I love to do. No, because, so that little handheld belt sander, because it's limited on how much power it produces for like the metalworking, I actually really use a low grit. I believe they were 36 grit, so they're really, really coarse, but it does a good job at getting in like the cracks and crevices depending on how you use it to get all the weld spatter off. Oh, changing the dash to a newer style. That'll be cool. What kind of dashboard are you going to be putting in? Still just a newer style Ranger, or did you go with a completely different style dash? So they have all different style grits for that little belt sander. I have a wide range, but when I'm doing metal fabrication, I use the coarse grit to go after it a little bit more aggressively. Because you can't really put a lot of pressure on the tip of the belt or else you'll stall it out. So I just use a coarse grit to compensate for the power. It definitely has its limitations, but it's great. It's a great tool to have for the price that you pay for it. It was purely an impulse buy for me. This one tightened up a little bit too much, so quick little chisel. Open that up a little bit. All that added heat. Tighten up at the bottom. I figured it would. That's why I made sure the bracket was inside of it when I welded it. But we can massage that a little bit. That's what we got hammers for. I knew it was going to happen. Beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to do a little grinding on this, clean the spatter up and some of the roughness on this, and it should be pretty good. Take just a little bit more out of this. To 01. All right. Be like that. Let's do that again, shall we? there. We're getting there. I knew it was going to close up a little bit with all the heat that I put on it. I tried to minimize it as best as I could. At the same time, I don't want it too loose either. Morning, Philip. It is going well. I'm just kind of finishing up on the loose ends from yesterday. I welded in all the axle brackets for the airbag mounts, and I braced up my shock mounts, and I'm just kind of doing a little bit of final cleanup for weld spatter and kind of cleaning up the welds a little bit, trying to get everything ready for powder coat on Monday. And today is kind of just like a little bit of a trial and error live stream. I'm live on TikTok and I'm live on YouTube. So just kind of freestyling it today on a Sunday. So had to fix the rear frame from the Ranger and do a 4-link and C-notch. Someone didn't know. Gotcha. So are you putting bags on the truck? Thanks, Philip. I was going to get involved in doing like drilling these bottom mounts out with 3 different size holes, but since I'm not really trying to race this thing and do any weight reduction, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just going to go for solid and keep it simple. That'll work. Clean this up and it'll help out even more. So this is the rear bag cross member that I made. 2x3 rectangle tubing, 1/4-inch end plates, 3/16 bag plates, boxed them in with a piece of Schedule 40 pipe, strengthened everything up. And the way that I have this made and designed is it will bolt in to the rear brackets. With how this truck is being built, still maintaining the leaf springs in the rear, it's kind of an odd setup, but it works. I have this thing stacked all the way down to the lowest possible. So it has a flip kit done already in the rear, and I added 2-inch drop shackles. So a flip kit's good for like 6 to 7 inches, plus the shackles should give me like 8 to 9 inches of drop for the rear of the truck. So it is set at the lowest possible point. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the airbag to elevate it to ride height and give him the use of the truck how he wants to use it. So I opted to go for a bolt-in rear cross member because, one, I couldn't find the position that I needed on top of the axle because we're not getting involved in cutting any of. This is not intended to lay frame. It's just supposed to be a low rider dually and very user friendly, something that could be driven daily and not have to worry about any craziness. So this simply bolt in the back. This way here, if any service work needed to be done to the rear differential, it can be all taken apart, relatively simple, and then removed and replaced just as easy. I opted to go with mounting the shocks in front of the axle on these brackets here. So the shocks will mount in the front, and I opted to go in front of the axle, keeping the shocks closer to the axle center line, and because they're low, I wanted to keep them within that range, so there won't be any problem with ground clearance, excuse me. The shock mounts are at the bottom, even with the frame rails. I imagine once I get this powder coated, it'll be a little bit tight as well, but we should be able to get it in there. The only other thing I got to do is I got to drill this hole back out, clean that hole up. And I think what I'm going to do on this is I want to add a gusset, little triangle gusset from this point here, and bring in some support to the bracket down in this area just to give me a little bit more weld surface on this bag bracket. I don't think it needs it, but it doesn't hurt to have it. Spin this around, drill a couple holes. Go. Right. Hole that never ends. Right now I'm drilling through the old leaf spring perch bracket, or not the perch bracket, but the leaf spring, yeah, I guess you could say the perch bracket or whatever you want to call it, where the leaf spring actually sits down on the axle, the pad bracket. This has had that flip kit on it, so this is going to be on the top side, so it's going to be open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize the old pad bracket for the link bars that come down from the sensors to each individual corner for ride height. What I'll probably end up having to do is take like an 1.5 inch angle or 1 inch angle and then bolt it to this. But I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to attach all of the sensors to the frame quite yet, but I am going to kind of do some preemptive drilling on this on both sides, front and rear. This way here, I won't have to drill it once it comes back from powder coat. Drilling through 3/8 with a 5/16 drill bit, and yes, I have cutting fluid. So that gives me a front hole, back hole, and I'm going to do the same thing on that side. Keep the lines out of the gutter. I appreciate everybody who's following along too. All the new follows, thank you. All the likes, thank you. Did you freehand cut those pieces or did you use pre-built and add? So the airbag brackets for the cross member actually started out as a rear underslung bracket that I pulled off of Amazon. I was originally going to go with Thornbeck Brothers, Thor Bros. They have a underslung rear mount that you can custom order for different size axle tubes that incorporates a lower shock mount. So that was my original plan. The pricing on those kind of got out of hand once I did the shipping and tax, which made me go shopping on Amazon, and I found a very similar bracket that I had to modify anyway. Long story short is I bought a set of brackets and then took what I needed out of those to create the ones for the cross member. So it actually worked out really well. I'm glad that I didn't buy the more expensive ones because I would have had to cut them up and modify them anyway. I always try to find something that will work, something that's already pre-cut or pre-built, and then knowing sometimes that I'll have to modify something, because this way here, with how expensive everything is getting as far as materials, the cut, the steel, electric, just everything that goes into custom making something, I try my best to find something that will work, that has a lot of the legwork done already, and then modify from there. I don't mind buying something and then modifying it. I try to buy something that I think will work to kind of lessen the labor aspect on the build, but sometimes that doesn't always work. I can show you, let me go grab the upper cross member and I'll kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about there as well. So this is the upper cross member, the upper bag mount cross member that I made. And everything for this truck, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible as far as putting in and taking out. So I made this to be a bolt-in cross member as well. The upper shock mount is bolt-in. The air compressor cross member bolts in, and so does the air tank cross member. So everything is bolt-in. Once it comes to assembly, nothing has been welded to the truck. As far as the cross member is concerned, a lot of it is just 2x3 rectangle tubing. But as far as the plates, so to tie in with buying upper bag mounts and the lower bag mounts, these upper bag mounts were just the universal plates that you can buy. Again, I bought them off of Amazon. And then my original plan that I had in my brain didn't work once I started building everything. And then I simply just modified the bracket that I bought and then welded them to my cross member. The original plan was to just keep a straight cross member. You can see that I had to modify it and bring it up in this area here because of how much height that I was limited to. So the original plan was just to weld the brackets on to the flat side of the cross member. That didn't work, so I raised it up, and the 2 inches was critical in order to get the bag placement where I needed it. So then I just simply cut the brackets, welded them on the bottom, and then took 3/16 and then just kind of added some strength on the back of the bracket. 90 5% of the load transfer that's on the bracket will be transferred to the cross member. So there's really not much to do. I can say if I had like a CNC plasma table, I would probably be doing a lot more custom cutting for my brackets and a lot of my plates. But because I don't have that capability yet, a lot of the stuff that I do is hand cut by an angle grinder. I do have a plasma cutter, but I'm limited to electric too. So I definitely work within the realm or means that I have at my shop at this point in time. As I continue to grow, the goal is to obviously continue to buy the tools to further my fabrication skills and my passions. I always feel like I'm limited. My ideas are only limited to the tools, or in this case, the power that I have in my garage right now. But I make things work. That's one thing that I'm easily adaptable, and I try to make the best out of what I have. Yeah, you kind of already, that's exactly what, looks like autocorrect got you again, KOA. How long have I, that's supposed to say, how long have I been doing it? I've been messing with metal and fabricating for years, but nothing like I have been lately. I've been able to focus a lot of my time on it full time now since like March of this year. So I'm trying to make something of it finally. I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to kind of mess with custom things and build wild stuff. So I'm kind of pursuing that now. And hopefully we'll be able to make something from it. To be completely honest, this is like my first real official project for somebody. I have my Viking project that you've seen me work on for the last couple of years within TikTok. So I'm actually trying to do something with my skills and the abilities that I have for other people now. So we'll see what happens. The ultimate goal is to be able to support my family and support our living with the passions that I have within mechanics, fabrication, automotive, and anything custom per se. So just on the climb up. It's kind of an interesting place to be because I'm also trying to focus a lot of my time and energy on the social media aspect, which it's an odd feeling when you can have such an impact on people in just doing what you love to do and showing it. I reached out to one of my followers yesterday, as a matter of fact, and one of his videos came up on my FYP, and I know that he's been following me for quite some time, so I kind of took some time and watched some of his stuff to see what he was up to, and posted a simple comment and just let him know I was there watching and supporting what he was doing. And for me to only take a few minutes out of my schedule to do something like that, to have such a profound impact on somebody else's life just by simply watching and commenting on what they're doing, it's pretty awesome. It's an interesting place to be. The way that I see it, I'm just an average guy doing the things that I love to do and producing content around that stuff. So as far as where it goes from this point, I have no idea. Am I going to be able to support my family in the near term doing this? I have no idea, but that's the goal. Would I like to try to help others with their projects? I would love to be able to do that. Am I able to do that at this point in time? I can't do that yet. As I was kind of connecting with him, and I've connected with multiple people, it's crazy. Like, one thing that's very important for me is always trying to connect with the people that are giving me their time. Time is super valuable. So if you spend your time watching my content and commenting on my videos, I always give my time back to those people. If you go back through most of my videos, especially on TikTok and even YouTube, Instagram, anywhere, any social platform that I'm on, you will most likely see some kind of comment back to those people. So I'm just trying to be a voice of encouragement for those of you who are working on your projects. I'm nobody special. In my eyes, I'm nobody special. It's just I am a guy who likes to work in his garage doing fabrication. And if I can be the voice to give you guys encouragement to continue building your builds, then I've completed my task. I don't ask for you guys to go buy any of my merch because I don't have any. I did try to do that. So I'm not exactly sure the long tail game of trying to further, I guess, the business aspect. But I would much rather see you guys spend your money on your projects and the things that you're building to further your projects. So we'll see how it all goes. Anyway, that was a bunny trail. But that's why I like live streams too. The live stream, so the video creation content side of things takes a lot of time and effort out of what I really enjoy doing, and that's building. So the live streams really fit the bill for me because it allows me to work on the things that I love to do, but yet connect to the people who watch. And it's an easy way for me to communicate back and forth. So it kind of streamlines the whole process. Drilling holes, make sure you're using some kind of oil or cutting fluid. It's amazing how much better the drill bit cuts when there's oil on it. That's 100% accurate. I love the live stream aspect. It really allows like-minded people, and even people that have no knowledge of fabrication or building or anything like that, when they come in and start asking questions, sometimes that will trigger other aspects within the build. And there's a good portion of work that was done to this Viking project that has a lot of input from my followers. Same thing with this. We were talking about powder coating yesterday, and I kind of put the list out of what was going to get powder coated, and I had mentioned something about powder coating the leaf springs, and one of my followers had said that, is powder coating the leaf springs a good idea because of flex and different things like that? And I can honestly tell you, I didn't really even think about it that far down the line. And after we had talked about it, some of the things that were being said made sense. So I'm going to just paint the leaf springs. But yeah, I get a lot of the people who follow me. A gentleman came earlier this morning. I'm not sure if he's even still in the stream. Yep, is that him? Yeah, Alan. There he is. I was just getting ready to comment about you. Different people that I've met through different social media platforms. I've been talking to Alan, who has a custom shop, and have gotten some great feedback on different things that I'm doing with the build from him. So it's crazy the reach that we can have with doing the things that we do. And all it takes is a little bit of risk on both sides, right? So I'm putting myself out there doing the work that I love, and then it also comes from you as well, the watcher, the follower, to make the comments, give opinions, your thoughts, all of that stuff. And sometimes people don't do that for fear of rejection and ridicule, which I can understand. But through it all, it's the whole brainstorming process. It's all part of the build process. I don't know it all. I'll be the first to tell you. When I was 16 and 17, maybe I did, right? We all think we know it all at that age. But it also takes a level of give and take to know that maybe I'm not making the right decision, to be able to listen to reason around certain things. So I get a lot of great feedback. And that's one reason why I love the lives. Nah, I've been streaming for a little over an hour now. I got all my dirty work done today. Oh, absolutely, Alan. Like I told you in Instagram, you got to put yourself out there for the good or the bad, and see what happens. I have met a lot of really great people that I am still in contact with today. A lot of people knew that I was losing my job, and I've had complete random strangers say, hey, if you ever need anything, I know a couple people you know, the community is really strong, and that's one thing that I really like about the TikTok side of things. The community within TikTok is amazing. It's crazy to see the reach and the connection that we can gain through TikTok and Instagram, all of them. But with doing the social media things, I've seen quite a difference between YouTube, Instagram, and so the friendships are real. And you have to kind of use your street smarts about it too, right? So using your street smarts about it, you can generally pick up on what's authentic and what's not. I've been hit up by a lot of people that I feel like just are trying to use a certain aspect because of how many people that follow me are trying to use that as leverage on their side. And I don't blame them for that. But you can definitely, or I should just say, I can definitely tell an authentic connection between something that might be more along the lines of business related. You guys don't understand. I just make this shit up as I go. That's all I do. Make the best possible decision at that point in time, and just go with it. Come on, baby. What I need to do is I need to get my Viking truck built and get this damn thing out on the show circuit, so this way here I can start meeting all of you people. I want to get out there and start meeting you guys face to face, and girls. Girls, guys, men, women. I need to get my butt back to work on this thing. Get that project done. Rob, thanks for the likes, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm trying, Gary. Rob, you're the man. Thank you. Thank you for the gifts and the likes. I'm just one guy trying to build a bunch of different stuff. The main focus right now is I got to get this dually project wrapped up. Like I've said it before, this project was on the schedule for many months in advance. And so top priority right now is to get the dually done. And then once the dually is done, I want to bring in my 1986 Suburban because I want to get the exhaust fixed on that so I can start driving it a little bit more. There's a really bad exhaust leak, and I have a new set of headers, and I want to fab up a dual 3-inch exhaust for it. So that'll be a relatively small project, but I want to get that in here so I can start enjoying that a little bit more, because I don't know about you, but driving a vehicle around with an exhaust leak is no bueno. It drives me crazy. It makes it not enjoyable at all, and it robs the performance from it. So that'll be a small project coming up. I'll be able to make a couple videos on YouTube on that project, and then hopefully get back to working on the Viking here. It seems like the Viking's going to kind of be like a winter project, like a winter project build. The last thing that I did on that was the exhaust work. I got to pop off these wheel cylinders, and then this thing will be ready to go to powder coat tomorrow. Got to wrap the axle tubes on either side real quick, and then this will be ready to rock and roll. I think they're 13 millimeter. They are 13 millimeter. For everybody new that's tuning in, just so you know, I am live on TikTok and I am live on YouTube. So if you want to see a recap of the live stream, once it ends, it will be up for your viewing pleasure. It's something that I've wanted to try for a really long time. I wanted to kind of go live on both platforms. So today is kind of a trial and error Sunday live stream. Trying to wrap up a few little final pieces for powder coat tomorrow. And experimenting with the social media side while I'm working. I'm also going to spend some time today inventorying parts, bolts, hardware, trying to get things set up for next week. These have to go. These have to go. Yeah, Alan, actually, I just reached out to a local laser jet cutter, I guess, and flow jet shop that does a lot of cutting for the local fab shops around here. So yeah, I actually am doing that now. I don't know. Actually, I'm hoping that I don't have to tear it apart. But I guess we'll find out. I didn't even really think about it. I wasn't planning on stripping it. If I have to strip it, I'm not going to do that. I've seen some pretty big pieces of equipment in and out of the powder coat shop that I use. So it's actually out here in PA. I'm out in Amish country, so it's an Amish run powder coating shop, and they will pretty much do just about anything that you ask. So I guess we will find out tomorrow when I drop this stuff off. Yeah, I hope not. If I have to strip this thing apart, then I'll just sand it. How hot does it get? 400 degrees? Maybe I won't powder coat it. Maybe I'll just paint it. I mean, ultimately, yeah. Ultimately, it would be stripped down. It would just be the pinion seal at that point. The seals are in the drums. The axle seals are in the drums, or in the hubs for the drums. More things to think about, right? Go back to the original idea and just paint it myself. I'll break out my little sandblaster unit I have for my pressure washer. Do some dustless blasting myself and then paint it. It wouldn't take that much. Yeah, exactly why I don't want to take it apart. That'll give me something to do next week. I'll paint the axle and paint the leaf springs. And then this way here, I could probably get it back up inside the truck a little bit faster too. I'll make that my focus for next Monday or Tuesday, or for this Monday and Tuesday. I'll drop everything off, come back. I'll get my sandblaster out for the pressure washer, hook it up. I'll blast the rear and the leaf springs. And go to town. And that's why I like the live streams. There's a lot of knowledge out there, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I'll listen to it, especially if it makes sense to me. That wraps up the rear fabrication for now. Slide this thing out of the way. Bring you guys up to my level. Working today, Alan? what kind of scrap pieces I got, so I don't have to cut anything. You never know what you're going to use. Those two are the same. So I can utilize that maybe. As a piece? No, it's going to go down here. I want to go down here. Utilize this piece. In the corner. Nice. Have you been staying pretty busy in the shop? She's a little warm. I gotta remember, I keep putting it in the wrong spot. I want to put it here. Like that. And just give it just a little bit more. A little bit more. I need another one of those. Oh yeah. Great answer. Good. Glad to hear it. we're going to run that right there. Put that right there. Weld it in. I need one more of those. Put them in the right spot. One there. One there. The answer is yes. Yep, full build, cycle everything through, make sure it's good, tear it all apart, finish work. Let's see here. Yeah, I try to, with how young I am into, I guess, building this sort of stuff, I try to limit as many problems as I can. I also create a lot of problems for myself. I love learning by doing. It's basically the only way that I know how to do things. And it's the most raw form of learning. So it seemed like it took me a really long time to get this built. For as simple as something like this is, like we're not going crazy with laying the frame. So it's basically just replacing springs and fabbing up a little bit of rear suspension. Like, it is difficult, but for being around fabrication, like, it's pretty simple per se. But it seemed like it really took me a long time to get the fabrication end done on the truck, just because of how many times I was taking it in, putting it together, taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart, making sure everything as far as clearances, strength, all of that stuff. And I mean, I know that you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. As you do things like this more and more, and you kind of come up with your systems that you have in place, it's kind of sort of repetitive. Like you said, the builds aren't always the same, but there are certain aspects that can be pulled from each different thing that you've done over the years to know, well, this is what this is going to need, this is what that's going to need, this is how we're going to do it here. So for me, this being my first one, I am doing a full custom build sitting next to me here on the Viking. So I mean, I have experience in that aspect, but with this particular truck and this particular build, it's already different because we're leaving the leaf spring in the back. So trying to work around that. Yeah, it just takes time, trial, error, experience, and a lot of the input that you've given me over the last couple of weeks has definitely been much appreciated, and much it definitely helped me kind of correct a few of my building dilemmas I was having. Let's see. Well, these. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish welding in these two little gussets for the bag cross member, and then probably call it a day with live streams, and then probably spend the rest of my afternoon cleaning up the shop, organizing the parts, making a plan of attack for this week coming up, and hit the ground running tomorrow. So I'm going to fire up the welder, weld in these two little gussets, and then wrap up the live stream and go from there. So I will be right back. Yeah, absolutely. Norman, how you doing today, my friend? Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Do. Yeah, I thought about doing that, like on one of those walls over there. You can kind of see my cardboard list. That's kind of a quick little knockoff list for my Viking project, but I thought about putting a big chalkboard or a whiteboard up on the wall and then do exactly like you said. That right there is another project that has to be finished. I got to get that painted for my wife's Suburban. That's part of that 2500 Suburban conversion that I did. Challenge to build. Dude, challenge to build. It came up, so the name challenge to build came up while I was still currently employed. And I remembered the day that it happened. I was sitting, we were on our break. I was sitting there eating my snack or drinking the drink or whatever I was doing that day. And at that point, I was in the process of creating, I had the idea. A friend of mine had started a YouTube channel surrounding horses and different things, older gentleman, and we spent a lot of time talking. And he was definitely a major player in the fact of getting me started within YouTube. And it was one of them things where it was like, well, he's doing it, I can do it too. So at that point, I needed to come up with a name for the channel. And it took me a couple days, and then finally on that day, sitting and taking my break, my dad, I owe my dad a lot of credit too, because even though sometimes our relationship kind of struggled throughout the years, I give him a lot of credit and owe him a lot of just the basis in which he raised me. He had his own business, and I was able to work with him through the years. And he would always get on my case, or in certain arguments that we would have, he would always be like, I'm challenging you. And I'm like, I don't need to be challenged, man. Stop challenging me. And I love to build. And one day sitting there at break time, it just kind of came together. And lo and behold, it has become Challenge to Build. And it really does kind of encapsulate who I am. I love challenges, I love to build, and a lot of it boils down to just challenging myself to further my skills or whatever it is I'm trying to do at that particular moment. I'm a grand visionary. So we'll see what happens. I'm still early in the game. I'm still young. I got plenty of ideas. And we'll see where it goes. Like you said, the sky's the limit. And I will always continue to challenge to build. Let's see. What is that? Bar the Customs. Hey, what's up, man? Gary, how is everything? Actually, I'm getting ready to wind down on my live stream. I just finished up working on the rear bag mount. Silver Bullet, good to see you back, buddy. Yeah, I'm getting ready, and I appreciate all the likes. I see the likes popping up. Just so you guys know, on TikTok, I'm actually live on YouTube right now as well. I wanted to use today as kind of like a chill day and kind of experiment. It's something that I've wanted to do. I've been wanting to go live on both platforms. and kind of use some of the commentary that I get from TikTok and try to create some content on YouTube as well. So my YouTube channel is Challenge to Build. You can see me on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, even Amazon and eBay, all under Challenge to Build. Sometimes you might have to use underscores depending on what platform you're trying to find me on. Yeah, I'm going to still spend some time out in the garage, finalizing a few pieces and starting to inventory the parts that I need for powder coat, hardware, and just the final last minute pieces that I need to be able to put this thing together. So for those of you who are tuning in on TikTok, I'm actually going to kind of wrap it up. I was talking to a couple of good friends of mine now. Alan has a custom shop himself, and the beginning of the live stream was real good. And I appreciate all of the likes, all of the follows, all of the gifts, all of the commentary. I do appreciate all of that. Valuable insights from all of you. 100%. Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anything. The way I see it, yeah, I'm having a hard time. Coatic Customs, chaotic. Is that supposed to be chaotic? I think it's, yeah, I want to say chaotic customs. Yes. Yeah, I got it. Took me a minute. The thing I have one small issue with TikTok is the screen names that come through are very dull compared to the comments, and I just wish they would kind of emphasize the screen name as well to make it a little bit easier to read. Like, I can see it, but I really got to get close, and sometimes some of the screen names and usernames are out of this world, some of which I will not pronounce just because of how they're spelled, but I apologize, chaotic. I appreciate you tuning in and watching and hanging out for the day. Alan, as for you as well, I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll be talking again. And again, thank you for watching. My name is Paul Michael. That is 2 words, and that is my full first name. Paul Michael. My dad wanted a Paul. My mom wanted the Michael. They put them together and they got me. And the rest is history, right? So thank you for watching. This is Challenge to Build. I've challenged my build today, so get out there and continue to challenge yours. And I will see you guys in the next live stream or the next video. I appreciate all of the communication, and you guys enjoy your Sunday. Be safe. And I will see you sometime next week. See you guys later.